Welcome back. You're watching Morning Live. Thank you for choosing to stay with us. Now, South African audiences will be given a window into the world of fine Russian culture when the Crown of Russian Ballet celebrates Tchaikovsky's 175th anniversary by taking to South African stages from the 25th of April to the 9th of May. Driven to explore and expand their creative and professional horizons, they're set to develop a new ballet repertoire of innovative classical and contemporary works. To tell us more about the classical masterpiece and modern dance is Brenda Sakellarides. I'm going to try and get your surname right to the end of this broadcast. But Brenda, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us. Let's talk about just how special this tour is to South Africa and what it means to audiences that love ballet.
I think South African audiences are very privileged when overseas guests and artists choose to come and share their work with us. And I think this is the spirit that's in Crown of the Russian Ballet and this 175th anniversary celebration of Tchaikovsky. It's in the spirit of collaboration, it's in the spirit of sharing. And I think that the South African audiences are in for a treat because we are having the finest of Russian culture on our stages in 4 cities in our country.
Brenda, you know what, for anybody who's ever watched these documentaries on YouTube and the various platforms, there's something about these Russian artists that just personify perfection in so many ways. They're going to 4 cities, but you know, for South African audiences that have never seen Russian ballet, what are they in for?
This particular program is beautifully curated for new audiences of classical ballet, and that it's not just a Swan Lake or a Sleeping Beauty, it's a potpourri. We've got the first act is Manfred, and it's a South African premiere of a new work. It's based on Lord Byron's romantic poem, so you've got an epic Faustian character who's grappling with all sorts of moral dilemmas, and this is in the first act, Manfred, danced to Tchaikovsky's Manfred Symphony. In the second act, we have the beautiful Romeo and Juliet one-act ballet and the Sleeping Beauty suite. So for young audiences, well, audiences of all ages, this is a wonderfully diverse program of classical ballet. It's easy to watch, it's easy to consume, and it almost goes straight to the highlights without having to sit through the 3 acts. So really audiences, young and old, are in for a special classical ballet treat with these performances in South Africa.
So you explained the performances, but what I also love, and I think this was done with an intention. There are classic masterpieces, some you've mentioned, and there's modern dance as well. And you found the perfect balance between the two. Why the choice initially to combine the two?
Well, in terms of Manfred, obviously it's a new classical piece. The other 2 works look at the classical repertoire, so there's not much invention there. It's actually based on the classical choreographers. But I think it's so important to remember that we are a dynamic 21st century culture, and I think one has to make the classical art forms as accessible as possible. And I think that's why the artistic director of Crown of the Russian Ballet, Anatoly Melyanov, understands the contemporary mindset. And I think that in Manfred we're going to see a wonderful new choreographic vocabulary to delight audiences, young and old.
We keep on mentioning young and old, but I do love the fact that this is the highlights and the best of Tchaikovsky's work. This really introduces new audiences, young and old, as you mentioned. Have we seen a growth? Are people reconnecting with the classics?
Very interesting question that. I think that the classical repertoire will always appeal to people. I heard a little 13-year-old the other day saying, I don't know why, but I just love classical music. You know, it's full of heart, it's full of emotion. And the fact that it has endured for as long as it has means that there's an element that's always going to appeal. It's the evergreen element. And you know, I think with classical ballet too, you're always going to have the new generation. No matter what, you always see those little people wanting to put the pink ballet shoes on and the little leotards, and off they go dancing. And I think it's always going to be with us. And I think that this particular program, Crown of the Russian Ballet 175th anniversary celebration, is a wonderful means to introduce classical ballet also to a new audience. It's affordable, it's accessible, matinee specially programmed with that intention in mind, that people, it's user-friendly. It's a user-friendly tour to South Africa of this wonderful Russian ballet.
You're talking about affordable. Highlight some of the ticket prices for us. We know that it's from the 25th to the 9th of May, but it is in 4 cities. So the first leg is Johannesburg, and where does it go after that?
Well, yes, it opens in Johannesburg the 25th of April at 3 o'clock, at the Theatre of Marcellus at Emperor's Palace. It also has a matinee on the Sunday on the 26th and an evening show on the Saturday. Then it moves down to the beautiful Opera Theatre in Durban, in the Playhouse, and it has 2 performances there in the evening, Tuesday and Wednesday of that week. That's the 28th and the 29th of April. Then it comes back to Gauteng, State Theatre that weekend, beginning of May. Wonderful way to introduce the new month. Also weekend of performances with matinees. Then it moves down to the Baxter Theatre for the final week. So audiences and all bookings are through CompuTicket. Tickets, as I said, are affordable. 150 Rand up to 280. So there's no reason not to enjoy and revel in this fine classical art form.
Okay, so all the information is there. You heard Brenda mention it. You can also Google for more details, but it is available at CompuTicket, and there's no excuse. Everybody should go and watch this. Take your kids, take your family. It's a great day out. That was Brenda Sakellarides from the Crown of Russian Ballet. The South African tour opens at the beautiful theatre. It is a beautiful theatre of Marcellus at Emperor's Palace, and it runs from the 25th of April for 3 performances. So go and check it out. You've got no excuses.